Russia's Midland, July 2016. M-Skill and GT Club present Fedor Yagudin on Cars, translation and voiceover by the group BMI Russian. The sky is shrouded in storm and darkness. While we were here filming some pretty shots, everything became literally covered with water in just mere seconds. Today we're testing a BMW 740D, the Carbon 7 series. Carbon aluminum to be precise. Interestingly enough, this is a short wheelbase car with an M body kit. Look at that beauty standing before us. I take great pleasure in driving this car, it's just wonderful. The short wheelbase model's key difference from the long one is even better handling. Its road manners are impeccable. Remember the old saying about pretty and smart young lady communists? Well, here you go. A few words about the design. When I first saw the 7 Series, I was stunned by its beauty. But a lot of people in the comments criticized the car. It felt as if I were surrounded by a bunch of Giorgetto Giugiaros, Paul Brocks. Well, here's what I've got to say. Guys, this car is lovely. It's got this line extended along the headlights and the nostrils, which accentuates the body's width, its stately look. Basically, its design embodies the best of past BMW 7 Series. There are cues from the E32, the sternness and the sharp, precise lines of the E38. This car now looks fast. It's not as massive as the F02. And at the same time, it hasn't lost its solidity, its excellence. The car comes with laser headlights. They're powerful and they light up the road beautifully. They switch on automatically after about 70-80 kilometers an hour. If the road is empty, then it turns the laser headlights on itself after evaluating traffic conditions. And they look really good too. These blue rings on the headlights which let you know that there are lasers here, along with a laser module and an inscription which says BMW Laser Light. Let's take a look around the car. See how it looks from the back. The flanks. They look, I'd say they look voluptuous. Beautifully voluptuous, streamlined. By the way, this car looks good both in long and in short wheelbase, guys. The Bavarians were able to make both versions balanced. Take a look. Here you can see a solid molding, unlike the old car where it was split into 2 pieces. Here the Bavarians made an effort to make this look good, and these lovely M wheels fit into the general picture quite nicely. Let's check out the exhaust. These flamboyant end tips, the rear end as a whole is quite well balanced. By the way, the taillights are reminiscent of the E32, and here's the typical BMW chrome stripe, which first appeared on the E66 model. It looked very appropriate there. I like this little touch, the way the trunk opens. As a matter of fact, you can fit a lot of stuff in the boot. It's very spacious. You can fill it with potatoes if you like going to your country house. To close it, do the same. Here we go. Take a look at how the dual-stage door closers work. They shut the doors quietly and smoothly, without any unnecessary noise. Now let us have a look at this engineering masterpiece. The Bavarians really went to town, so there's a new generation of diesel motor featured here. The old cars came with the N57, and now it's called the B57, this particular one being a T0 model. This motor makes 320 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. The motor itself is lighter compared to its predecessor. It's more powerful, as you'd imagine, and it gets better fuel economy thanks to turbochargers with variable geometry, which BMW calls twin-power turbo technology, as you can see from this inscription right here. That's not even mentioning that this thing has a common real fuel system. Here's another important piece of information about the motor. It has new Piezo Injectors, which are good for 2500 bar or 36,259 psi of pressure. Do you know what a bar is? Yeah, and so what does 1 bar equal? Come on, man, why are you filming me? Trying to make me look bad? I'll put this up on VK. You're putting it up on VK? Okay, go for it. 2,500 bars, fellas. That's 2,500 atmospheres. Of course, atmospheres. So is that a lot? Yeah. Alright, let's close the hood. Check out this carbon, by the way. There's a beautiful piece of decorative carbon here on top. And that's there for a reason, mind you. This 7 Series shell is what you'd call top-notch technology. It's already won a few awards. It's made of a special lightweight aluminum alloy, combined with a few carbon bits here and there. The sole purpose of which is to reinforce the body and make it even lighter. There's a carbon piece right here, there's some more carbon over here, so the body is much more rigid compared to the F02, and you can really feel it from behind the wheel. Let's fire up this ravishing beauty, which I personally really like. As always, we're greeted by an extremely well-appointed cabin with only the best quality materials. Here you see, quote, winged metal, aluminum that is, as well as some pleasant-to-the-touch ceramic surfaces and piano black finish. The interior trim level is individual. It's black with some nice grey stitching. The steering wheel is also a BMW individual unit. So yeah, this car inspires me to hit the road. I'm driving at a leisurely pace. The head-up display is reading 116 kilometers an hour. Fuel consumption. Are you firmly planting your chairs? I'm getting 59 miles to the gallon. We've just gone over a seam in the road. A huge one with a pothole. Yeah, I'm afraid I ran into a pothole. It happens. Otherwise, the road's great. I'm going to Kaluga, to the Museum of Cosmonautics. You wanna know why? Because this thing is jam-packed with space-age technology. Lightweight materials, carbon fiber, aluminum. There's a driving assistant plus system. This car is unbelievable. When you switch on there's a small button here to turn on the cruise control. For example, let's set the speed to 125. Here we go. 125, set and activate driving assistant plus. Here's what the car does. It literally takes over. It controls the... About that seam, by the way. The ride quality is amazing. I thought it would be stiffer than the long wheelbase version, but in reality the ride seems to be just as good. Okay, are we gonna make it? We had to step on it a little bit to overtake that truck as not to get stuck behind it. I will admit, I've been driving this 7 Series quite vigorously. Of course, you are more inclined to do some relaxed driving since the car is comfortable. But sometimes you just want to go hard, and given the overall dynamic potential of this car, I've averaged 24.5 to 25 miles to the gallon. And that's for the entire period which I've been driving the 7 Series for. I have to say, that's an incredibly low figure. There's one important thing you have to understand. Aside from the technologies which are implemented into the car by its manufacturer, the mechatronic chassis. Wow, doesn't that sound awesome? Mechatronic chassis. The motor, the gearbox, which works perfectly, you literally can't tell when it switches gears. Anyway, so you have to combine these technologies together, you have to fine-tune it in order to achieve a certain balance. I have to say that the Bavarians have done a fantastic job doing so. Even certain rough edges which, as I see it, can be found in any car, are completely forgivable considering how well this car behaves on the road and how balanced it is. For example, right now we're going 130 kilometers an hour and I can maneuver like this. That was a pretty swift lane transition. The car's road manners, they're outstanding, aren't they? The chassis is just so balanced that, I mean, the reactions are just super precise and super quick, not a hint of nervousness or numbness in reaction to steering input. It's as if this car is an extension of yourself. It's just you. If we're going to talk about grand things, well, poetry, think Pushkin. Music, that'd probably be Tchaikovsky. And if we're talking cars of this category, then right now, that honor goes to the BMW 7 Series. This is truly a car which has gathered together everything you can imagine. This is practically an ideal car. Let's start with the quality. Like I said, the materials here, as well as in the long wheelbase car, are of the highest quality. This feels like leather, here's some wood grain, there's some metal, aluminum on the steering wheel, and right here, the buttons. The effort that they put into this car is staggering. Every button here feels exactly like it should in a top-end luxury car. So no play and no need to apply any excess pressure. So everything is accurate, perfect, and precise. You can just drive along and enjoy this car, enjoy it oh so very much. You can go to any faraway place, to Vladivostok for example. I mean, why not? When you plant yourself into these seats, when you feel the materials around you, The ceramics. Have a look at how pretty the ceramics are. Can you film this iDrive knob for me, please? And this joystick, which has such an ideally crafted shape. I mean, it seems as if they've spent at least a month on this joystick alone to design it, mold it, and make sure it fits anyone's hand just the way it should. When you're in this car, you feel not just at home. This is your own sofa with some pillows and everything. You've seen the gesture thing before, and we've shown it to you plenty of times. It's very, very convenient. You get very used to it in a while. When you're driving with your hand on the joystick, you're like, right, let's crank the volume up just a little bit. Music's playing. Just some regular travel music. And you're soaring along, going about your flight. Skip. Alright, we've almost made it to our destination, Kaluga. Time just flew by. I mean, the drive from Moscow to Kaluga is considerable. There was a bit of congestion, but this car is just such a joy to drive. You can happily take kilometer after kilometer. Turn the sound off. Yeah, we have to turn the sound off. Can you repeat that, please? Yeah, can you repeat that? Mute the sound, please. This car does not have such a function. Well, what do you know? Here I am playing with that system again. I've taken my hands off the wheel and the car is driving and steering itself. Good stuff, very nice. Check it out. I'm touching the steering wheel only so that the sensors allow us to continue fooling around. Cars are going to be flying to space soon. You know what? Even so, there's no sense that you're disconnected from the car as if the car's doing everything for you. Not even a hint of that. You're fully aware of the fact that you're the one controlling the car and it's not the other way around. When the Driving Assistant Plus system is active, it creates a sense of ease and comfortable driving, but again, you're the one controlling the situation. So friends, here we have a typical situation. I've arrived at a courtyard, and space here is limited. If I drive in sitting in the car, then I won't be able to get out. I'll open the door and there will only be this much space and I'm not getting out. And so BMW has come up with the world's first remote parking system controlled via the key fob. You point the car's nose approximately where you want it to go. You don't even have to be too precise. I've already tried actually, and the car steers itself and makes slight corrections. Have a look at how it works. I take this nice looking key, the likes of which no other manufacturer has, by the way. Press, unlock, access parking menu, and now the key is connecting to the car. Connecting, and now I press this button. Start the motor, here we go. And now we just press the forward button. Sash, film the car please. And it goes right into place. It folds the mirrors so that you don't hit anything, it makes steering corrections and neatly goes into place. Shuts down the motor. When it reverses, it goes dead straight, so even though it turns the wheels when going into place, it goes straight out when backing up. Just like when you were a child, remote-controlled cars, albeit this one is slightly larger. So fellas, now I'm getting into the car and we're heading for a racetrack. We're feeling pretty good. There's a special service car driving right in front of us. We'd better inform their superiors, huh? So this is a great opportunity to use voice control. It's the most convenient way when you're driving. Okay, so, voice control. Please enter a name. Vladimir Vladimirovich. Entry chosen. Putin Vladimir Vladimirovich. Would you like to make a call? Yes. Putin Vladimir Vladimirovich has 2 phone numbers. Which one would you like to call? Mobile or private? Mobile. Calling Putin Vladimir Vladimirovich on mobile phone. The number you have dialed is not available. Please leave a message after the signal. I'm keeping a safer distance so that it doesn't spray so much water on us. The car's already dirty as it is. Putin Vladimir Vladimirovich calling. Answer decline. Are you filming this? Wait a second. Yeah, go for it. Hello? Good day to you, Vladimir Vladimirovich. Hello. We're going to a racetrack in a 7 Series. What do you know? It's a 740. Of course, Vladimir Vladimirovich. Do you grant your permission? Sure thing. Thank you very much. Have a great day at work. Good luck. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks. So fellas, right now we're going into the pit lane at the Myachkovo Motorsport Park. Our test pilot is on board with us. He's the Superman who's going to be running the car through its paces with me. We'd like to show you around Myachkovo a little bit, to give you an idea of what the track is like, to get a feel for it. Alright, so we're approaching turn number 1. Remember now, it's to be taken at a moderate speed. Enter near the middle and tighten your line closer to the exit. Here you can give it full throttle down the straight. Prepare for the next right turn. Here you give the brakes a slight but quick jab and go right. You okay? Turn right. We're carrying some good speed, aren't we? It's not bad given that it's such a large boat. Okay, slow down. Now go left. Okay, brake. And go right. Hold it, stay on your side. Keep an eye on the curb, apply brakes and turn right. Make a sharp right turn. Go a bit wider on the exit. You seem to be doing okay. I'm feeling great. How many more laps do you plan on doing? I think that's pretty pointless. The guy's carried away with the process, so it's best not to ask. Guys, this is awesome! I'm liking this so much! He'll keep going until the brakes start overheating. It's a diesel, so we're not running out of fuel anytime soon. Will it inform us when the brakes start overheating? Or will we feel it? We'll feel it. Actually, we're not even close to overheating. What? The brakes aren't showing any signs of fade. They're surprisingly not bad. Yo, Ted, maybe we can film from a different angle, or perhaps to let me out and I can film from the outside. There's no point doing this over and over again. I'm telling you, he's fixated. You were saying something, Alex? Come on, man, stop the car already. Yeah, hold up. Right, gotcha. That was fantastic! So you back with us again? You know, it definitely handles better than a Maybach through that turn there. A Maybach would wash out and go straight into the field. We've already gone out into the field in a Maybach. Here's a cool thing. If you hold the steering wheel at an angle for a while, the rear end steps out. Yeah, the car likes going sideways. This car has great weight distribution, and it's not afraid to use it. It has an active torque vectoring all-wheel drive system. Yeah, true. Which balances thrust between left and right wheels. It plays around with the brake distribution, which really helps you when you're driving. You especially feel it when transitioning, going from one turn to another. It feels as if you're doing it in a motorcycle. It simply shifts its mass from one side to the other and continues going. Guys, this is a 7 Series, a big, comfy 7 Series. And at the same time, on one hand, you are aware that you're driving something big and heavy. But on the other hand, you can't help but feel like you're in a computer game. You think like, okay, I'm going to turn the wheel and it'll follow, and it indeed does. Okay, so it's not great at it, the car understeers, but it gets the job done. Not every car can manage such a feat. A Maybach just goes straight here while we navigated that corner. Even a normal S-Class would go straight here. There's not much of a difference between them. So all in all, is this 7 Series good to drive? You know, yeah, it's a pleasure to drive. Damn, it's a nice car and it's good to drive. Great car, great to drive. Can you speak up, please? Our external mic isn't recording. I mean, let's be honest, BMW is true to itself, and those who are worried that BMWs just aren't the same anymore, no guys, BMW still got it. They've still got it. Yefim, please stop the car when you got the chance. I want out. I'm gonna throw up. And so guys, here are my personal impressions when it comes to handling. Compared to the previous generation, the F02, this 7 Series has drastically improved in terms of handling. And interestingly enough, the brakes do a very nice job too. They're actually pretty good, providing the car with ample stopping power. How many laps did I complete? 3? I tried to be gentle with the brakes, while Yefim is always at the top of his game, choosing the right spot for entry, braking, and this guy uses the brakes mercilessly. What do you have to say about the brakes? The brakes. He completed 4 laps, by the way. They're sufficient and then some. Usually, given such a pace, most cars' brakes are gone after 3 or 4 laps. These continue to work just fine. Okay, so I wasn't braking at the very last moment. I gave the car a bit of room, I mean, keeping in mind that I've never driven one before. Plus, we have a bit of rain, so you don't know whether the surface will be damp or not, so I was always going at about 9/10. That said, even if you're carrying this kind of speed, it is just so easy to fry your typical run-of-the-mill brakes. Here, however, everything continues to work. The car keeps going, it still accelerates, brakes, turns, so we're not losing any speed at all. Fantastic. I mean, for such a car, that's just fantastic. This is impossible, it goes against the laws of physics. Here's another question for you, Yefim. Can you feel the increased rigidity and weight loss compared to the previous generation? Does this carbon core technology work? Is the car lighter? Yes, of course it does. You can feel that, aside from ideal weight distribution, this car tends to carry its weight closer to the center. It's much more nimble. Obviously, it's still a soft and comfortable premium product. It has some body roll. Make no mistake, the 23, 32, 38, they all had some slight body roll issues. The E65 and later cars were big battleships, and while this car is still a boat, it still embodies the best from the E38 and the E32. I mean, it handles and it does it well. What else can I say? It gives you that kind of lightweight sensation. Exactly, it feels as if it's light. This car staggers you with its sensation of lightweight, energy, and you know what, guys? In comfort mode, this thing is softer than a W222 S-Class, but while in sport mode, it can demolish any competitor on a racetrack. As I see it, this car has no rivals in its class. Another thing I'd like to ask Yefim, how do you like the way the all-wheel drive system works? He was worried that all-wheel drive would make this car stale, that it wouldn't handle too well. Anyway, what are your impressions? My impressions? Well, it has more of a rear drive bias. I've already complained, like, I'd prefer a rear-wheel drive BMW 7 Series, but you have to understand that I'd also like for it to have, aside from rear-wheel drive, a manual gearbox, an E32 shell, and an M30 motor. But those have long been dated, rusted through and forgotten. But by modern car standards, this thing moves along beautifully. Keep in mind that all-wheel drive grants the driver an extra level of safety on public roads. That's a fact, no argument there. But if I were to ask myself whether the all-wheel drive system bothers me or not, I guess, yeah, it does present a certain psychological barrier. But does it make the car understeer? Does it give you that typical all-wheel drive trait where it tries to send the front wheels plowing off the track? No, it doesn't. Upon entry, mid-corner, it behaves like a rear-wheel drive car. And upon exiting, when you do need the front wheels to bite, this becomes an all-wheel drive car. That's quite an advantage, actually. Well, so there you go, guys. This is a great car, and well, now, this car is helpful in any sort of situation. I've run so many errands in it, and I've just picked up my mom. She just flew back from her vacation. Picking her up from Sheremetyevo. This car's dynamics are something else. It scoots nicely in any conditions, even on a racetrack, which we found out today. And that while maintaining very decent fuel economy. So, Mom, what do you think about the car? The car is wonderful. How do you like the... Maybe you can step on it. Step on it? Am I going too slow? You want me to show you what this car can do? The sun is finally brightening out our rough and gloomy weekday mood. Closer to the end of our test drive, the sun finally decides to return to us. Okay, so let's sum things up. We've driven this car all the way from Moscow to Kaluga. We almost even made it to the Museum of Cosmonautics. We visited a racetrack in the new 7 Series and had a blast there. We've done some drifting, evaluated the ride comfort, driven my mother home from Sheremetyevo. All in all, to me, this car is impeccable. By the way, even taking into account all the crazy driving that I did behind the wheel of this car, I was able to average a total of 24.5 miles to the gallon during the entire course of our test. That's a new record in this segment. This is the most economical. In my opinion, this car is the best. Would I buy one? Absolutely. And all of this is achieved thanks to innovative technology, some great calibration work on the chassis, as well as the talent of those people who work in Bavaria. So stick around, won't you? Check out my test drives and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Big thanks to Alexander Karulin, Yefim Gantmacher and Vasily Melnikov.